So we're back again with Rome Total War 2. What's going on, guys? My name is jellybellybro and today I'm bringing you another video. Now, this video is going to be about the new DLC, which is the Nomadic Tribes Culture Pack. Now, this is free to download until the 29th of October, so the end of this month, and it was available since the 22nd. So if you haven't downloaded it already, definitely recommend going and trying it out for yourself, coming up with an own opinion of what you think of the new factions that have been added. Without further ado, let's take a look at what is set to be included in this DLC. Now, upon first inspection, I went into custom battles, and I wanted to obviously see the units that were available in these new factions. To my surprise, only cavalry units were there, and that was about it. Literally, nothing else but cavalry units existed in any of the three factions, which kind of did disappoint me, so that got me kind of thinking. They can't have seriously made a DLC with just cavalry based units, so I went into a campaign. Now in this campaign you'll see that there is actually some infantry based units, so I thought, oh okay, but I was a bit weary of it, for the simple fact that I had mods running, and I thought, did the mods add units to these already, because if the mods such as the Radius Unit Pack mod had added a series of units to all of the nomadic tribes all the factions that were in the classed as nomadic tribes, then when I started playing as this, did it just include them anyway? That got me thinking, so I thought, okay, I have to back out of this obviously and try out without any mods, and I went into the campaign again, and there was actually still the same ground units. So ground units are there, but they're just not shown in custom battles. So I was a bit like, okay, I can't use those when I play custom battles. So I'm a bit confused, but at least they're in the campaign, which is what I play primarily on this game, so I thought, okay, this isn't too bad. Okay, so next thing to note is the fact, well, how these factions play, pretty much. And you'll see when I go into the campaign here that the environment which you're placed in compared to a lot of the factions that were already out there on the game is quite different, quite unique. And your army and your whole civilization is very cavalry based. Now there's some awesome new buildings which gives different buffs and stuff. The gameplay you are seeing in the background here of me on the campaign map is actually modded. This was my modded attempt. I've included this one because I don't know, I just move a bit faster and I actually end up doing something instead of just sat there talking. I did live, my dog interrupted me, so I'm doing a talk over it instead. Hence the reason why there's no sound coming from the game while you're watching it. But yeah, units in general, the units that you do have for ground units are very weak, and that's the only problem, that's the only quarrel I'd say I have, is the fact I'm very glad they actually have some kind of infantry units in there. For the simple fact that if it was just cavalry units, I'd be very, very disappointed at this point. The simple fact that it's very, very bloody hard to get anywhere in any campaign without taking any towns. Now, you can take a towns with cavalry units, of course you can, but you have to dismount them, meaning you have a maximum unit size of about 60 to 100 men, meaning you're never actually going to have a full group of soldiers, which means if they have archers on the wall, your men are going to get torn up and their morale's going to be so low and there's going to be so many of them are like dead by the time they get to the wall that it's basically a fail of an attempt, which is what happened to me, and I ended up rage quitting off the entire campaign. Not today, but that was a different day, but the same theory still applies. So in this I go into the campaign here, and I'm just going through some of the things about the buildings, new unique buildings. They do the same thing, add the same buffs, like +2 food, all that stuff, but some of them add a few more. So for instance, if you on the food and agricultural tab choose to upgrade your standard farm into a horse kind of place, then you'll be allowed to recruit horse skirmishers and armoured horse skirmishers, which is something else. So upgrading an agricultural building gives you access to more unique cavalry units, which does make sense because you're all based around cavalry, so agricultural buildings that have cavalry in them would make sense to give you enhancements when it comes to military as well. But enough about the campaign as such. That's some of the new buildings, new layout, new area of the map, which is pretty interesting. I've never actually gone to this area of the map before. But it does kind of limit your gameplay tactics really with just cavalry units. Now, I'll talk about this more while we watch this bit of gameplay here, and this is actually in battle. Now, I knew I was going to lose this battle because I was outmanned, I was outgunned per se by Skirmisher Cav. I only had 5 groups. They had like a whole army of Skirmisher Cav, and then they had some tribesmen as well, which is one of the default units you get when you're a nomadic tribe. And the ground forces are just so weak, and it's quite annoying because if you've ever played as a infantry based faction and you have to chase a skirmisher cav, you never actually end up doing anything but getting shot to pieces as you chase after them across the entire map. Put them on skirmisher mode, as soon as your men get in with a certain distance, they simply run away. So you kinda have to turn your cav, which I do in this battle, to melee mode, just so they can chase them down themselves and get a few kills before I knew I had to withdraw my men and they all got killed. So it was kind of defeats the purpose, and I didn't really feel much tactical advantage in doing anything in that battle apart from chasing enemy cavalry down, which kind of really did let me down. But that's the problem with this type of units they've implemented into the DLC. You have a series of very weak DLC infantry units, and then you have some amazing cavalry. Problem is though, is that the AI is renowned for having armies, especially naval armies, of just skirmisher boats. So what's stopping them from having skirmisher cav armies? Absolutely nothing, which is the big problem which I came across very early on in this campaign straight away, is the fact that they had just an army of skirmisher cavalry. And it kind of defeated the whole purpose. They just ran away. It kind of felt like I was playing not hide and seek, sorry, I was playing tag. It was just really quite long, quite tedious and quite boring, and it kind of let me down in a lot of ways. But there is a lot of new cool stuff in these DLC, and I definitely recommend you try them out and see what you think about them. Because you might like the play style, you know, but I prefer a diverse range of units that I can use to my advantage on the battlefield. Archers, spearmen, swordsmen, melee cavalry, shot cavalry. I like siege weapons, all that stuff, all on one battlefield. Just adds a really diverse and awesome, different gameplay dynamics, and that's something which I think the DLC default units don't give. They're just cavalry, and I get the whole idea of nomadic tribes being cavalry based, but I think there needs to be some kind of equal balance or some option for the player there to be able to use infantry as well to be able to accomplish things. Now when sieging you need to use infantry, and they haven't really catered for that much at all. You know, the units are quite weak, you can't really get anywhere. You have not got a hope in hell of taking Rome with the units that you have at your disposal when playing as the Royal Scythia, or any, for that matter, any of these new factions. You just don't, and that's a bit of an annoyance. It increases the difficulty, so if you want a challenge to do anything, then definitely choose this faction to play campaign through. But judged on what I've said, could you give us some comments in the feedback? Do you think that this DLC is worth the money? Do you think you'll be getting it? And do you think that you agree with me when I say that the diversity of units and, you know, the limitations that this DLC brings when you play as one of these factions is quite significant? But yeah, make sure you just drop your reasons of why you will or will not be getting this DLC on release. But it's definitely free for now, so go on, hop on it, download it, and make sure you try it out for yourself, because obviously the only way to get a good opinion of what you like is actually experiencing it for yourself. So go ahead guys, I'll see you guys in a bit. Thanks for watching, all you Jelly Belly Bros out there. My name has been Jelly Belly Joe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.